Hi everyone, welcome back. This is part 2 of my diamond painting essential must-haves, and because I've talked so much, there's probably going to be a part 3 as well, so stay tuned. I really hope when I piece all these pieces together that we're not like at 4 hours because I can't stop talking. So thank you for listening, and my nose is getting red because now I'm thinking about Lady Catherine de Bourgh and all the things she says to me. Okay, so next is trays. What are we doing about trays? So this is the tray that they give you. So I still have a lot of these in my possession, but I've given most of these away. But I will say one useful thing for this is if you keep 2, if you deal with static in your drills, you can pour some into here and then use this on top of it to kind of break up the clumps that might come together because of static. So I do keep 2 of these on hand, although I really don't have a whole lot of trouble with static. And actually, if I did, I get a dryer sheet and I just cut a little corner off and I put it in the container with the drills, and then that pretty much takes care of it. So yeah, so I keep these, but I don't really need them. Then this came in the storage kit that I'm going to show later. And this is a good size, right? And so this would probably rank 2 for me. And again, if you want to go, oh, my nose, it's hot now. If you want to go on Etsy, you can get these custom made trays that are monogrammed, made out of beautiful materials. And I've almost done that, but I really like my top choice, and it's so cheap that I just can't justify it. And this is coming from me, who pretty much buys anything if it has something to do with that craft. Okay, anyway, there's this tray. What's nice about this one is that this little end pops open, and that allows you to shake your drills back into whatever your container is that you're keeping it in. But this is not my top choice because I really don't like that I have to open it and close it. You see, it's not super easy to do, and so I just don't like that. But the size is good, the depth of these wells is very good. When you're dealing with this, you can't do very much, because the whole idea is that you pour some drills in here, you shake it up, and they flip to the right direction for you because of these spots, and then you can tilt it a little bit and get them to line up if you're using the multi-placer. So anyway, there's this. Now this is my top choice, and you need to pay attention to the dimensions, because there is a white one of these going around that's only about half the size, and it's a little bit narrower. And so you've got to pay attention. This is like an index card size, which it's the same as this. But I like this one because it's got a narrow funnel, so to speak, at the end. This one was pretty wide, so you really almost have to use this with a funnel in order to get it back because of how wide that is. It's almost twice the width of that. So I like this. And then some people will say to cut off one of these parts, like just one of these bumps on this thing, because you can put that in here to plug it. but I have never had problems with them coming out here, because when I shake mine, I just put my finger over it and shake. I know a lot of people kind of shake this direction, but I guess I've just learned that when I'm shaking it, because it's open here, I've got to shake it like this. So this is by far my favorite, and I think if you watch other people's videos, you'll see a lot of people that this is their favorite. And it's again got the wells are deep enough here that it's very easy to put some drills in here, shake it up, and then get them all to settle down so that you've got nice strips of drills in here. So this is my top choice. And again, I didn't write down the prices. That's why I'm pausing in between, partly so I can get the stuff and then find the prices and write it down so I'm not looking in here. But let me just go back to my Linktree. Okay. So on Amazon, it comes in a 3-piece set, which is not bad to have more than one. For one, if you take this while you're vacationing, then you've got one you can leave with a vacation travel set, you know, and one you can have at home. Or some people like to have multiple colors out at once. I don't, but some people do, and so therefore they would enjoy having the multiples. So for 3, it's $5.99 from Amazon. And then from Temu is a 2-piece set, which is what this one was that I just opened here. And for 2, it's $2.48. So you can see a big price difference, and if you don't need it right away, Temu's the way to go. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite. So you can see for $2.48 for 2, $1.25 for 1. I can't justify going to Etsy, unfortunately, and buying one of those beautiful ones because it's just not worth it. But also I'll point out, because this is narrow, it's very easy to get it back into a pot or bag or whatever you use to store your drills. It's very easy to get it back into that without having to have a funnel, because like I said, this really works well as a funnel, whereas this you would still kind of need a funnel so you don't spill it everywhere. So there is that. I'll be back. Okay, so I will say, I mentioned that pens and placers would be in the top 3. Trays for me would be in the top 3, as would the putty wax. So those would be my top 3 of important things, which makes sense because those are the 3 main things that they would give you in their pack. So these other ones are, or these other pieces are, I don't have any real order to them. But this segment is going to be parchment paper or transfer paper, whatever you want to call it. So let's look at this one again. When you first get a diamond painting, it comes with this clear plastic on it. And if you decide you like, I know a lot of people like the clear on here, and again, this is all personal preference, but usually I'll like peel it up and get it flat if I'm going to keep using this. But for me, I don't like using this because it's distracting. Because I tend to work in quadrants like we saw on this other one, but when I have it like this, say I'm working on this yellow, I tend to then start looking for all of the yellow, which there's nothing wrong with that style. I just don't want to do it that way. I'm too anal. It's weird because art is art and it should be fluid and free, but I'm kind of very particular about how I do art. So anyway, I don't like leaving this plastic on here, and it's flimsy, and I don't find that it sticks very well. Like if you're doing a section and you're doing a certain color, I don't feel like it sticks very well or covers very well when you like set it down to stop for the day. So I like parchment paper. And the reason for that is it makes it cloudy the parts that I'm not working on. See how anal I am? I'm going to tell you about why I do that in a minute. But so what I would do is I would slowly pull up the clear, and as I'm pulling up the clear, I would be laying down the piece of parchment over that. But this then makes it so it's much easier to focus on the area that I want to focus on. And so you'll see, like if I, like this is the last section I worked on, I didn't tear the whole piece off of that. I just made it so I could flip it up and do a big crease so it stays open by itself. You don't need any of those magnets that they also sell unless you just want something that's prettier. So yeah, so this is my preferred method. And why do I have these? Well, for one, I like being able to work just a small space because maybe that's all I've got time for that day. I know I'm going to be watching an hour-long episode of Hey Everybody or The Rookie, my favorite show on TV, and so maybe I know I can only get about that much space, and that way I've not uncovered more than I can handle. So that's why I do it. But also, I number them because you can see I didn't go in order. I ask my kids to pick a number at random, and then that's the next box that I do. So, or I have a die that goes up to 20, I think, that I'll roll. And I've even gone online and done those random name pickers with numbers. That's how dorky I get sometimes, guys. So anyway, parchment paper. So here's what I would recommend, and this is what I've got linked in my link tree. Reynolds Wrap makes these pre-cut sheets of parchment paper. And look at that. And look at this. It is the perfect size for this. Now this is a 30 by 40 centimeter diamond painting, which is the typical size that the Temu ones come in. Now they come in smaller ones and bigger ones, and if that was the case, you would just cut this down or you would add more. I do have a dragon that I'm working on right now that takes 2 full ones of these. But look at that. So you don't have to worry about cutting the parchment paper. It fits perfectly. And these creases come out when you are, pressing it down. So that's what I've linked in my link tree as my recommendation, because that is perfect. Now the other thing to keep in mind, don't ever use the parchment paper from Dollar Tree. There is something wrong with it. I ruined a diamond painting using Dollar Tree's version because it stuck and it would not come up. So that was super depressing because it was a really pretty one. The other thing is they say don't use wax paper because wax paper is not the same on both sides and it does not pull up well either. But this stuff works like a dream. It lays well against the sticky mat and it peels right up when you're ready, and it doesn't remove any of the stickiness from the mat. So perfect item. This is available on Amazon for $3.99 for 30 sheets. They've also got packages of higher quantities. You can get it at Walmart too. So keep that in mind. This is for me, it's a one-time use. Now, could I reuse it? Yes. If I wanted to, after I cut this, save this number 10 and use on another one, could I do it? Yes. But for $3.99 for 30, I'm not going to waste my time with it. I'm just always going to use a new one. So what are the alternatives to that? If you don't want to use the clear, you don't want to use parchment paper, well, then you've also got these transfer papers that Temu sells. I don't like these. I don't like, this is really just sticker paper. So I had some round labels on here, and once I was done with the labels, I just kept this because why buy more, which I already had, but These are reusable, so I kept these. These are the exact same thing, just bigger, but you can cut these down if you want to have smaller sections. But then with these, you would be placing them all, you know, multiple ones on your diamond painting, or maybe you leave part of the original clear plastic on there and just put this on the spot you're working. But I just didn't, to me, this serves my need, right? But this is another option. I don't know, I couldn't find any parchment paper on Temu, and because you can't trust Dollar Tree's parchment paper, I wouldn't trust Temu's parchment paper either. Or if I did get it, I would try it in a very small corner of one, just so I didn't ruin the whole thing. So yeah, so that is my recommendation for covering. All right, next we're going to talk rollers. So after you finish a section or the whole thing, it's a good idea to roll it down to make sure that if there's any loose beads, they get pushed down, or if there's any that, like maybe one's just kind of on top of another one just a little bit, it gets them all rolled down or pushed down basically. So there's two different kinds of rollers that I've seen. This one is, it pushes in to this, and I like the idea of this, but this is what broke my thing here, because you kind of put more pressure on this and it doesn't distribute very well, that pressure. But this is a good travel version, I guess you could say, because it takes up a lot less space than that. So yeah, so this is an option, but it's not my favorite. This is my favorite because when you're rolling, you want to roll, say, horizontally and then vertically and then diagonally. You want to roll every which direction. This covers a lot more space. It looks like a lint roller, but it's not sticky. And it just rolls and it distributes the weight better, and it just has a better overall result. And a lot of times when you're doing this, if you have beads that are, or drills that are not laid down quite right, you'll hear little crinkles as it's getting things in place. So this is a short little section. This at Amazon is $5.99 and Temu has it for $2.87. All right, what are you going to do with your diamond painting once it's done? Are you going to put it in an album? Are you going to frame it and put it on the wall? Are you going to toss it in the trash because all it was a means in which to keep yourself busy while you're doing other things? I am not sure what I will do with all of mine, to be honest. Of the ones that I've done, I brought these back downstairs, my elephant ones. I've tried two different, well, no, that's not true. I've tried 3 different ways to display my paintings. So the first way, which I didn't bring down here, you may have seen the kind where you slide your painting in and it's got a frame all the way around, but it lays down. I don't think it's magnetic, but maybe it's more like static cling around the edges, and the whole back of it is sticky, so you kind of stick it to the wall and then you can slide your painting in, and you don't have to trim it like this. And then you put the cover on, and then you can interchange, you can take the cover down. I'm not explaining this very well, but I don't recommend this one, which is why I don't have it down here, nor do I have it easily accessible on my phone. And the reason why I don't like that one is because, one, the whole back is sticky. So I stuck it on the wall across from the bathroom. It was a SpongeBob one, and then I thought, I'm never going to be able to get this back off of here. And when I do, it's probably going to pull all the paint off. So had I been smarter, I probably would have stuck that down to a canvas, and then I could have hung the canvas. But I wasn't that smart. I put it on the wall, which is what they show in all the pictures for it. And so I decided, no, I don't like that. Plus, it's got the clear film over the cover of it, which kind of dulls the intensity of the drills. So I didn't like that. So the other thing I've done, I've got those diamond paintings that are for each month, and they're very small. I think the finished size is 6x6, I think, or maybe 5x5. But I bought a actual, probably a 6x6 frame, because I think the painting is 5x5. So I bought a 6x6 frame, and that I do stick those in, and that's okay, but it's such a small one. But if you were to get an actual frame for these 30x40 size ones like this, they're an odd size. It's not a typical American size, and so they're expensive. And I don't want expensive, I want cheap. So that's when I found the metal, or the magnetic ones, sorry. And you've seen these hauled on other channels before. They have them at Amazon and on Temu. But basically, I don't want to pull this apart, but basically these two pieces come apart, and you leave enough of your drawing or your diamond painting. You don't cut off the top except for what would extend over this part, and you leave enough at the bottom so that it can adhere to that, and it, you know, clips together because it's magnetic, and then you can hang it. And as you hang it, it would kind of straighten out a little bit, because you can see it kind of gets a little wavy. So, and they come in black. I prefer black, but they come in black, white, natural wood, dark wood, any of those. And this just seems like a good option. I will say they do make these in different sizes, so I would recommend measuring your, well, okay, it's 30 centimeters. I don't know what that transfers to in inches, because these are typically, at least where I buy them from, are marketed in inches. But this one looks like a 12-inch one. So just get something that, unless you want a lot of overhang, but you don't want something that's shorter than your picture, because that'll look weird. And they have these going out longer, so if you have one that's this direction instead, you can find something to accommodate that. And then I always cut off the, you know, when I'm having to cut these sides, I tape the key to the back. This is freezer tape, just in case a drill were to fall off. I've never had that happen yet, and I don't use a sealer on mine. I don't think that's necessary. But if a drill fell off, I would be able to tell. I don't know how I would ever know unless a bunch fell off from the same section, because would you be able to tell if one was missing? Only if the light was shining in the right place. But I save all my drills, are we surprised? I save them in carefully marked Ziploc bags so that I could go back and find it if I needed to. So anyway, that is frames, and the magnetic ones are the ones that I recommend. Oh, and then the price. Once again, I forgot to look up the price. All right, no, I don't need my Discover card right now. No, I don't want that either. Gosh, sometimes it's so stinking slow to update. All right, magnetic frames on Amazon. Oh, shoot. That's the link to the roller. I'm going to have to go fix that link on the link tree. Darn it. just cycling. He wants to show me live football. I don't want live football. Okay, hang on. Let me look this up. Old-fashioned way. Magnetic frame. Should have just gone to my orders and pulled it up that way. Okay, so it looks like a 2-pack would run $8.99 on Amazon. And then let's see if my link for Temu, nope. Do you ever just start clicking stuff instead of being patient, waiting for things to load properly? Okay. On Temu, one is $3.59, so the price on those is pretty comparable. All right, we've only got three topics or sections or accessories left, so we're getting there. Anybody else getting thirsty? I am getting thirsty, so I'm going to take a little break here. I'm trying this Brutiful iced coffee drink, the mocha version from Dollar Tree. This has been really good. I've really enjoyed this, so that's my little plug for Dollar Tree. All right, so next we've got anti-slip sticky mats. A lot of kits come with these. I would always want to have at least 2, but I'm pretty sure when I got these, I got a set of 6, which is what I found on Temu and Amazon. But basically, and these are kind of getting a little grody. When they get grody, you just rinse them under the sink and let them air dry. Don't put soap on them because then they won't stick and you'll have to throw it away. But it's got plastic on both sides because both sides are sticky. And how I use these, I'm usually diamond painting on a TV tray. So I'll be sitting in my chair in the living room with a TV tray over me, which is tilted a little bit, so it's kind of angled a little bit. And so I will stick one of these on the TV tray, and I will put whatever my container is that I'm using to hold my drills in, so or my tray, I'll put on this so that it's not moving around. And then I keep my drills in pots or cylinder containers, and I can stick one of those on here and it won't move, so I don't have to worry about it spilling. So that's what I use these for. And for me, it's very important because I have cats jumping around and kids running around, and I don't want to spill things. So that's why these made the list for me. And they come in a set of 6, like I said. On Amazon, it's $6.95, and on Temu, it's $4.45, and there's no difference in the quality between the two because I've gotten both. So, yep, so 2 more. Okay, so this next section is box cutters, and I put that on there because you need a straight edge if you're going to do something like this, which I do. So I didn't do anything fancy. I just had a black Sharpie that I didn't even use a ruler because you can kind of see the lines through the paper. So I just drew it. So then when I need to cut, you can just take a straight edge and cut just right along one of those to free it up. That's literally the only thing I use it for. And I'm recommending this one because this is the one that I use, and it's super cheap, and it's like any other box cutter. Supposedly, I don't know if you can see, it's got the lines on there, and you're supposed to be able to break that off when it loses its dullness. I don't know how to do that, so I've never done that before, but it's probably pretty easy. Just makes me a little nervous. But anyway, you can get this exact one, and Okay, this is a little ridiculous, right? You don't, there's nothing better about this one than a different one. It's just super cheap on Temu, and it's cute, right? I'm a cat lady, so I want cute, and I want to be reminded of cats. And what other reason do you need? Plus it's kawaii. If you say Hawaii, is it kawaii? I don't know. All right, so the box cutter. On Amazon, you get a 2-piece set of these for $5.88. $5.88 for 2, and then on Temu, you get 3 for $1.32. So I think it's, and having more than one is good, and you know, so if you're traveling or whatever. And these are great for opening Temu packages or other packages that come in the mail. Obviously it's got multi-purpose. It doesn't have to just be for cute crafting. All right, so the only things we have left are the storage system that I use, and then I've got a few miscellaneous, I think these things are crap kind of stuff. So we'll be right back. Okay, let's talk storage. Why do you need storage? Well, if you're going to what they call kit up before you start your diamond painting, you're going to take all of those drills that come to you in those little plastic, not usually non-Ziploc bags. Now if they come in Ziploc bags, you're golden. You wouldn't really need anything else. But if they come in the kind that you have to cut apart, that's, you either have to put them in your own bag or you have to put them in some kind of container. I prefer these containers, and I will tell you why in just a minute. But I also prefer to get a set of 60. Now these come in, you can get 30, 60, 120. I think you might even be able to get more than 120, but I don't know why you would ever need that many. I've never had a single diamond painting use more than 60 colors. Granted, I've done mostly 30 by 40, but even my big dragon one didn't have 60. So I think 60 is a good amount, just in case you happen to be working on more than one at a time. You could have one on this side and one on this side. So like in my case, where I've got the diamond paintings that are for each month of the year, those are super small, so I could easily have maybe the 12 colors for it on this other side. So I like these pots, and I don't know if they're called pots or whatever, but they have a screw on lid, and my white tray very easily fits into this, so I don't need a funnel. The other thing I like about the set that I've recommended in my link tree is the labels that it comes with. Let me see if I can find one. May need to open another. Well, actually I don't need to. I'll just talk about it. So that it comes with 2 pages of these white labels. Now, I wasn't smart enough to do this in the beginning, but I quickly learned after having to replace, you know, if you put the label out here on the outside, now you could label it with an A, or maybe you've got some DMC labels that you could put on here. I personally choose to label these with the same symbol that I'm going to see on the painting. I don't want the DMC number on here, because then I still have to go look at the key to figure out what letter it is or code it is that's going to be on the painting. So I will put the one that it's going to have on the actual painting. But, and I'm going to say this is genius because it's genius, I decided after having to replace a bunch of labels that I was going to put the label on the inside of the cap, because the other side of the label is white, so then I've got a no label on here and I can use my dry erase marker. So that is what I have done with all of these, because sometimes you might have weird symbols that you don't have a label already made for. So I will label them like this, and sometimes they get a little banged up and then I just go over it again. But this ends up being perfect, and then I can just, after it's done, I can just wipe that off, and you know, depending on whatever I do with these, they're ready then to use the next time. So I thought that was genius. I have to give myself a pat on the back because nobody else will, because everybody else in my family thinks I'm a dork. But that's why I really like this particular set, because it has these labels. That's kind of the only real reason, because most of these sets that you find are very similar, and they've got very similar accessories in them, and most of the accessories that come with these kits aren't that great, so I'm really buying it for the pots. And if I'm lucky, it has a pretty design on it. I'm not really a big fan of this design, but I've got 5 or 6 of these because I would buy one, and I'm going to talk about this in a minute. Actually, I'm going to talk about it in the next segment, the things that are crap, because some of the ones I got of these came with accessories that were junk, but then I was lazy and I didn't return them to Amazon on time. So I still have them, which is fine, because I can keep, they've got these and these are good, but they didn't all come with good size labels either. But yeah, that's kind of the story of my life, as I procrastinate, and then my 30 days are up. So this ends up being a good solution. Another solution that is not terrible, but I just don't like it as much, is a solution like this, where, and Temu sells these, where you get a box and it's got this kind of a container. One thing I like about this is you can do this one-handed. You can open it one-handed, close it one-handed. You can unscrew the other ones one-handed too, and the white tray, the nozzle fits in these too, so it's easy. But with these, the sticker situation's a little bit different. You get stickers like this, and you can't really put those on the inside of these because of the hole that's open in the middle. So then that's where your DMC labels, because when you buy the DMC labels, which that's the universal color coding system that diamond painting and cross stitching use, so a lot of those will come with letters and numbers also, which you can see here, but they don't come with those weird symbols that some of them have. So that's one downfall, but these are still a good solution, and these come in all different size options. And I still have something kitted up in one of these because I used this before I fell in love with the circle pots. But I would say if you're going to go this route, make sure you look for one that's got a closure like this, because there's some on Temu that don't have this part and it's hard to keep them closed. So you want a latch. All right. We're almost done. We're almost getting there. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far. Okay, so now we've got the addendum to the video here, and this is where I'm going to hear Lady Catherine de Bourgh telling me that I complain too much. I complain about everything. She said something about the fact that I would even complain if I had a brand new gold casket at my funeral. So keep that in mind. I know I complain a lot, but hey, if I'm going to review something for you guys, I'm going to be honest, and I probably am kind of critical, because even though Temu is cheap, I still expect quality, because I'm not the one that chose the price that they chose to sell it at. So I expect it not to be broken. I expect it not to be janky. I expect it not to be warped, broken, any of those things. So yes, I do complain sometimes, but I do it for you. And I try not to ever just have a whole video of complaining, which I probably could do if I wanted. Okay, so this is the appendix, addendum, whatever you want to call it, and this is going to be the things that you may see as you're looking to buy supplies. And you know what? Did I say that at the very beginning of this, that Nunya Beeswax was wanting to start in on a diamond painting journey, but she didn't know what kind of stuff she would, or what would be the best things to buy? So if I forgot to say that at the beginning, that was the whole reason. I know I mentioned her. I'm assuming it's a her. I think it was a her. I think it was a female in the picture. That's terrible. I apologize, Nunya Beeswax. Nunya Beeswax, not business. I use Nunya Business with my kids. But anyway, that's what this video is for those of you that want to get into it but don't want to waste your money like I did, and you want to learn from my mistakes. Okay, so this, I don't like this. This is a straightener, so when you get your beads done, you can force this into the middle of the beads to help straighten them. I don't like this because this is too long. It works fine, but, and it probably would, okay, so this would be good on the edges. If you're needing to push the edges in to get them straight, that's the only thing I would use this for. Otherwise, you really should use, or in my opinion, should use the smaller straightener, because no one is super straight, and this one is so much easier to, you can slide it, and it's thinner than the plastic one where I put that. So this is, I recommend this, not that other one, but most kits come with that other one. All right, then funnels. So we've talked about funnels. I don't need a funnel because I use the white tray that has the very narrow tip on it. But if you get a funnel, not all funnels are created equal. Now they're all silicone at this point, right? So that they can fold up. But there is a difference. Circle, square. The square ones are junk. For one thing, they don't I have tried and tried, like the silicone in these square ones, and I unfortunately have a couple of these that are the same, and it's just not as good as silicone. It doesn't, I mean, this part's not too bad, but this part is just terrible. And so the beads get stuck in these, and this wouldn't fit if you're using those rectangular containers. This wouldn't fit, although this probably wouldn't fit either. But this is just junk. I mean, this one though, it's very sturdy and it cascades, and so you very rarely will get one stuck. So if you feel like you need to have a funnel, then I would make sure you're getting one that is circle. And you can usually tell in the picture, if you look close enough at the other pictures, you can tell if you're going to be getting a square one or a circle one. But again, I just, if I'm kitting up and so I have the whole bag of drills that I'm trying to get in, I still put them in my white tray and put them in that way. But most kits come with one of these. Then another, well, actually, let me get both of these things out. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier. These are called minders, and they're magnetic. And you would, if you were working with the original plastic, or maybe you're working with your parchment paper, you could fold it back, and then you'd put the pretty side of the magnet on the top of the painting, and then put this on the back of the painting to hold down your plastic so it doesn't move. Right, so I have obviously bought some of those because they're pretty. That's the only reason why I bought them was because they were pretty, because I do not have a need for them with the way that I do this, because when I fold this, it stays because the texture is different. Now the plastic, the clear plastic that comes with it, that doesn't. So you would probably want some if you were going to go that route. And these are not very expensive, but I have had the magnets completely come off of one of this style before. But they're cute. So if you need a little friend with you while you're doing it. And those don't usually come in a kit. You pretty much have to buy them on purpose. Then there's also a bunch of these. Now, I know a lot of people like these because if you're very concerned about getting your drills straight, this probably would help you. But let me tell you, you stick this down onto your mat and then you put the drills in their little spot, and they have ones for the square ones too. This is for a round. Picture trying to get this back off of the mat while the beads are all on there. It's a disaster. I mean, unless you have them exactly in the center of these, which who can do that, and it would make it really hard to use the multi-placer. This is just, I think the people that make this look easy on YouTube videos have some sort of secret power because I think these are crap. All right, and then a lot of people use washi tape, and I've used washi tape because a lot of times the glue that is on these extends out a little bit further than the design, and so if you want to keep from getting gross skunky stuff in it, washi tape is a good thing for that. So this is not a negative one like those other ones. And some people, if they do leave on that clear plastic, they will use a thin or even a thick washi tape to still section off even on the clear so that they can cut and still kind of do this kind of idea. And I obviously have this here, but I don't need it for the way that I do it. But it is useful to have it along here, especially for the sides that you're not going to be cutting off. Like this side will get cut off, so it really wouldn't matter if it got cat fur on it. But this side, although this would be under the magnet, so it probably wouldn't matter either. So then it's just a matter of, do you like your arm getting stuck in it? Which I don't typically like that. All right, so let's see if there's any last supplies. Oh, I talked about this a little bit. You can buy these DMC labels, and so this is an example of the page that has the numbers and the letters, but then you'll see here at the bottom it goes into the DMC numbers, which are, that number is sort of like that color. So for me, I told you I save my leftover drills, so I use these and I put them on a small Ziploc bag, either one that I've gotten with the kit or I've just bought a little stash of bags, and I will put this on it. And I use baseball card sleeves, so I will put one of these on the baseball card sleeve too, so that I bought enough baseball card sleeves that I could literally put them all in order. So that's a good use for these. But then these work fine on the pots too, right? So some people really like these, and these are easy to read. You don't have to worry about them rubbing off. I've never seen the numbers go up this high. I mean, usually you would only have the first 9 numbers possibly on a key, a diamond painted key, and some of these you wouldn't because it would look too much like an I, for example. So you very rarely you'll see a 1, and you very rarely would see a 0 because that could be an O. So, but the letter ones do get used a lot. So there's that. I've, of course, before I decided on a storage method, I got a bunch of these. But I will say there's several TikTok videos out there where after people are done with their diamond painting, they just pour all the beads, diamond drills or whatever, into a big vase, and they just use it to fill a vase. So there's that. And then let me just make sure there's not anything else. I will say this particular case is what the pen set that I've recommended comes in, and it makes great storage for stuff. So here's my dry erase marker, some of my other pens, another set of tweezers, some extra placers. So yeah, so I don't oh, it is also handy to have a little pair of scissors, but everybody's got scissors, so I didn't put that on the list. So yeah, so this, I don't know how long this will be. I hope it's not super long, but if it is, I hope you bear with it. But this was fun. I felt like I actually knew what I was talking about. I wasn't trying to describe what a soldering iron was when it's something I've never used before. I've actually had a lot of experience trying to use all these different things, so I've been very opinionated about stuff. So I hope this is helpful. I think diamond painting is a great pastime. It's fun. It's a great thing to do while you're watching TV, especially if you listen more than you watch. I didn't talk about light boards because the light boards that I have are small and they're not big enough for a full-size diamond painting. But I know a lot of people do like those, but I don't have one. I didn't have one that I could recommend. And I really haven't, even though I want to get one that's a full size, I really haven't had a need for that. So because of that, I didn't think it should make the list. But otherwise, I hope this has been helpful. I hope if you enjoyed this video that you give me a thumbs up. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and I hope you consider subscribing. And again, I'm hoping to get this published. I'm hoping to get it scheduled to be published Friday, tomorrow morning at 8. And again, thank you for being so patient as I've had videos airing out of order. And hopefully you didn't feel like you were on Doctor Who or, you know, some weird show with time traveling. I don't know. Now I'm just kind of sounding silly. So, all right. Well, wherever you are, whenever you are, see, and that whenever you are isn't going to make sense anymore because I was only saying that because I knew my stuff was airing out of order. But I'll probably keep saying it because who knows when you will be finding this video. But anyway, regardless of that, I hope you're having a great day, and I hope that until we meet again, you stay safe and in good spirits, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye.